Queen Rila stood at the edge of the high balcony, looking down at the shimmering cities of Virelia. The light from the twin suns painted the streets in gold and silver, and the floating gardens hung like clouds of emerald above the city. From up here, everything seemed perfect. Yet in her heart, Rila felt emptiness. Rila was the leader of her planet, chosen not for her beauty but for her wisdom and courage. Her skin was textured with soft scales that shimmered in colors her people had never seen before. Her eyes glowed with a soft violet light. Her shape was unusual, with long limbs and a head that curved in ways the other aliens considered strange. From her earliest years, she had been told she looked different, even frightening. Throughout her life, she had learned to hide the sadness it caused. She studied the history of her planet, learned the arts of leadership, and mastered the science of Virelia's technology. She spent hours in the city libraries, reading about other civilizations, learning their languages, and understanding their needs. She wanted to be a queen that was respected, not feared. But respect was hard to find when no one could see past her appearance. Other alien species refused to speak with her at trade summits or alliances. Ambassadors would politely nod, shake her hand, or bow and then leave quickly. She had become used to their fear. She had grown skilled in diplomacy, always keeping her composure, always smiling, but each rejection added a weight to her heart. This morning, Rila had been preparing for the Interplanetary Council, an event where species from many worlds would gather. She hoped it would be different this time. Perhaps the new species that had contacted Virelia would see her differently. Perhaps for the first time, someone would treat her as a queen, not as an alien with strange features. As she walked through the palace halls, the soft hum of the energy fields beneath her feet echoed like a heartbeat. The halls were lined with tall crystal walls that reflected the sunlight, creating a rainbow of colors across the marble floors. Servants and advisors bowed as she passed, speaking in gentle, respectful tones. "Queen Rila," said her chief advisor, a tall, blue-skinned alien named Sora. "The delegation from Earth has arrived. They request a private audience before the council begins." Rila paused. "Earth," she said softly. Humans were known to her only from records and reports. Their ships had traveled far, but only a few had visited Virelia. The records said humans were clever, curious, and brave. Some even hinted that humans were fearless in ways other species could not understand. "Prepare the council chamber," Rila instructed. "I want to meet them personally." The council chamber was a large circular hall at the center of the palace. From its center, a globe of light floated, showing all the planets of the nearby star system. Around the room were seating areas for each species attending the council. Rila entered gracefully, her long fingers brushing the crystal panels that lined the walls. The human delegation stood at the entrance. There were 3 of them, but one stepped forward. He was tall, with short brown hair and simple clothing. His eyes were bright and curious. Unlike the other aliens, he did not look startled or afraid of Rila. "Welcome to Virelia," Rila said. Her voice was calm, soft, and commanding at the same time. "I am Queen Rila. I understand you have traveled far to meet us." The human smiled. "Yes, Your Majesty. I am Tom. We are explorers from Earth. We have come to learn about your planet and its people." Rila studied him carefully. There was no fear in his gaze, no disgust, only interest and respect. She felt a strange warmth in her chest, something she had not felt in many cycles. "Then you will see our world," Rila said. "Follow me." She led them through the palace halls, down long corridors and over glowing bridges that floated above the city. Tom asked questions about the gardens, the floating walkways, the energy fields that powered the palace. Rila answered each question patiently, impressed with his curiosity and open mind. Finally, they reached a large observation deck overlooking the main city square. The twin suns shone brightly, casting shadows that danced among the towers. Rila had always loved this view, but seeing it with Tom made it feel different. "It is beautiful," Tom said, his voice full of awe. "I have never seen anything like this before." Rila felt a small smile form on her lips. "This is only one part of Virelia. There is much more to see and even more to understand." Tom nodded. "I want to see it all. I want to understand your people, your history, your ideas." For the first time in years, Rila felt hope. Perhaps someone truly wanted to see her world and her for who she was. Over the next few hours, Rila showed Tom the gardens, where plants grew without soil, floating in the air, glowing softly. She showed him the libraries where knowledge from thousands of years was stored in crystal forms that could be read with the mind. She demonstrated the energy systems of Virelia, how they were powered by the planet's magnetic fields and light from the twin suns. Tom asked questions about everything. How did the energy grids work? How did the plants survive? How did the society manage to stay peaceful for so long? Rila answered patiently, explaining the principles and stories of her people. You are wise, Tom said finally, and kind. Your people are lucky to have you as their queen. Rila felt a warmth in her heart. Most visitors would only see her appearance and avoid her. Tom saw her mind, her leadership, her heart. He saw her. As the day ended, Tom prepared to leave. Thank you, Your Majesty, he said. I have learned so much today. I hope I can continue learning from you in the future. Rila nodded. You are welcome here, Tom. Virelia is open to those who wish to understand, not judge. When he left, Rila walked back to her balcony. The city below sparkled in the twilight, but her mind was filled with the humans she had met. She realized that even if the rest of the galaxy rejected her, there was hope. Hope that someone would see her for who she truly was. That night, Rila could not sleep. She walked through the palace gardens, feeling the soft glow of bioluminescent flowers brush against her fingers. She remembered the first time she had felt different. Even as a child, other alien children had avoided her, whispered about her appearance, and left her out of games. She had learned to be alone, to study, to grow wise, but never to feel truly accepted. Yet now she felt something new. Perhaps one day someone would not only accept her, but admire her for her mind and heart. Perhaps there was someone in the galaxy who could see past fear and look for understanding. As she stood among the glowing flowers, she made a silent promise to herself. She would not hide her light. She would continue to lead her people with courage, intelligence, and kindness, and one day she would find someone who could see her as she truly was. For now she had hope, and that hope was brighter than the twin suns of Virelia. The next morning, Queen Rila prepared to meet the human again. She had not slept well. Thoughts of Tom filled her mind. His curiosity, his courage, and the way he had looked at her without fear or judgment made her feel a warmth she had not known in many cycles. Rila walked through the palace halls, her long fingers brushing the smooth crystal walls. She passed the glowing corridors lined with holographic displays of Virelia's history. Each display showed moments of discovery, peace, and progress, reminding her of why she had chosen to lead her people with kindness and intelligence. Your Majesty, said her chief advisor Sora, the human delegation requests a tour of the city today. They wish to see more of Virelia, and they are curious about our culture and technology. Rila nodded. Very well. Prepare the city for their visit. Show them what makes Virelia special. When Tom arrived, he greeted Rila with the same respectful smile as before. Good morning, Your Majesty. I am ready to explore more of your planet. Rila smiled softly. Then let us begin. Today I will show you the heart of Virelia. They started with the floating gardens, a place where plants hovered in the air, supported by a subtle magnetic field. The flowers glowed softly, changing colors with the sun's movement. Rila showed him how each plant was carefully tended, how the gardens were used not only for beauty but also to purify the air and provide food for the city. These gardens are amazing, Tom said. I have never seen anything like them. How do the plants float? Rila explained the science behind it, using simple words and gestures. Tom listened carefully, asking questions about every detail. He wanted to understand everything, not just see it. Rila found his curiosity refreshing. Most visitors only cared about appearances. Tom cared about ideas and knowledge. Next, they visited the city's energy center. A network of glowing tubes and spinning crystals powered the entire city. Rila explained how the energy was drawn from the planet's magnetic fields and the twin suns. She showed him the controls, the safety mechanisms, and the careful balance required to keep the city running smoothly. You humans use energy differently, she said. Your technology is impressive, but you rely mostly on fuel. We have learned to work with our planet rather than against it. Tom nodded thoughtfully. That is incredible. Your people have found a way to live in harmony with your world. That is something humans can learn from. As they walked, they came across a group of children learning in the gardens. They were playing games that taught cooperation, problem-solving, and creativity. Rila paused and watched them. She had spent so much time learning and leading that she rarely had a chance to see the younger generation. These children are our future, she said softly. They will grow to lead with the same values we hold dear: kindness, intelligence, and courage. Tom smiled. Your teachings will last for generations. I can see that already. After the gardens, Rila took Tom to the libraries. The libraries of Virelia were unlike any he had seen before. Crystals hovered in midair, each containing knowledge from centuries of research, art, and history. When a person touched a crystal, the information flowed directly into their mind, allowing them to understand languages, mathematics, and concepts instantly. Tom reached out and touched one of the crystals. His eyes widened as he absorbed the information. This is incredible, he whispered. Your people have preserved knowledge in ways humans could only dream of. Rila watched him with pride. Knowledge is our most valuable treasure. It is not only power but also responsibility. We learn not just to know but to understand and help others. The day passed quickly as they explored more of Virelia. They visited the city's transportation network, where magnetic pathways allowed citizens to glide silently across vast distances. They visited research centers, where inventors worked on new technologies that could help other planets. And they visited the council hall, where Rila explained the history of Virelia's peaceful relations with nearby worlds. Throughout the day, Tom asked thoughtful questions, listened carefully, and shared ideas from Earth. He told Rila about human history, about challenges humans faced, and about the creativity and problem-solving that had helped them overcome obstacles. Rila found herself fascinated by the human perspective. His ideas were fresh and different, and yet they often aligned with the values she held dear. As the sun began to set, Rila led Tom to a quiet observation point high above the city. The sky was filled with colors, the twin suns casting golden and violet light over the landscape. The floating gardens glowed softly below, and the city lights began to twinkle. It is beautiful, Tom said, his voice quiet. I have never seen anything so peaceful. Rila nodded. Virelia is more than beauty. It is a place where knowledge, kindness, and courage guide our people, but it is also a place that can feel lonely for those who are different. Tom turned to her, his eyes serious. Different is not bad. Sometimes different is exactly what the world needs. You are different, Queen Rila, but that is why your people are lucky to have you. Rila felt her chest warm at his words. No one had ever spoken to her like that before. Not the other aliens, not her advisors, not the delegates from other planets. Tom saw her, truly saw her, and respected her. They sat together in silence for a while, watching the suns dip below the horizon. Rila felt a connection forming, a bond that went beyond appearances and differences. She realized that humans might be the bridge between her world and the wider galaxy, not just because of their technology or bravery, but because of their ability to see beyond fear. Tom, she said finally, I have lived many cycles and I have learned that understanding is rare. You have come far and yet see what is important. You do not judge by appearances, and that is a gift. Tom smiled. Your Majesty, I only see what is real. Your wisdom, your kindness, your courage, why, these are the things that matter. The rest is only surface. Rila nodded, feeling hope grow in her heart. Perhaps the galaxy could change. Perhaps other species could learn to see past fear and misunderstanding. Perhaps she could find friendship and maybe even something more in unexpected places. As the night fell, they returned to the palace. The city below sparkled with light, and the gentle hum of energy fields filled the air. Rila walked Tom to his quarters, ensuring he was comfortable. You are welcome here any time, she said. Virelia opens its doors to those who seek understanding. Tom bowed slightly, his eyes full of respect. Thank you, Queen Rila. I hope to learn more, not just about your planet, but about you and your people. After he left, Rila returned to her private chambers. She looked out at the city one last time. The feeling of loneliness that had weighed on her for so long seemed lighter now. For the first time, she felt that perhaps she was not entirely alone. She thought about the humans she had read about in her records, brave, curious, and full of spirit. They had traveled across the stars to meet other worlds, to learn, to understand. And now, one human had come to her, seeing her not as a strange alien but as a queen, a leader and a person. Rila realized that change could start with a single connection, a single act of understanding. Perhaps that connection could grow into something greater, something that could unite species, teach understanding, and bring hope to those who felt alone. As she drifted to sleep that night, Rila felt a sense of anticipation. The galaxy was wide, full of mysteries and full of beings who had yet to understand her. But with one human by her side, she felt that the possibilities were endless. Tomorrow, the council would begin. New species would arrive and new challenges would appear. But Rila no longer feared the rejection that had haunted her for so long. She had seen a glimpse of acceptance, and it had changed her. She knew that no matter what the galaxy thought of her appearance, her strength, wisdom, and kindness would shine through. And she also knew that with humans like Tom, bridges could be built between worlds, hearts, and minds. The night was calm, and the twin suns had set, leaving a sky full of stars. For Queen Rila, hope had begun to grow, and that hope, she knew, was the first step toward a future where understanding and friendship could overcome fear and rejection. The morning sun rose over Virelia, painting the sky in shades of gold and violet. Queen Rila stood on the balcony of her palace, feeling the warmth of the suns on her scaled skin. Today she had planned something special for Tom. She wanted him to see not just the beauty of Virelia, but the strength and intelligence of its people. Tom arrived promptly, carrying a small notebook to record his observations. His excitement was clear in his bright eyes, and Rila felt a small smile form on her lips. "Good morning, Tom. Are you ready for a new adventure?" she asked. "Absolutely, Your Majesty," he replied. "I want to learn as much as I can today." Rila led him to the city's central research hub, a sprawling structure filled with glowing panels, floating workstations, and inventive minds at work. Scientists, engineers, and thinkers of all kinds were developing new technologies to help Virelia and nearby planets. "This is our center for discovery," Rila explained. "Here we solve problems not just for Virelia but for the galaxy. Every invention is tested for safety, efficiency, and benefit to others." Tom's eyes widened as he observed the inventions. He saw floating transport vehicles being tested in controlled airstreams. He saw plants engineered to purify polluted water. He saw machines designed to convert sunlight and magnetic energy into clean power for distant cities. "These are incredible," he said. "Your people are not only smart but also creative. You find solutions that no one else has thought of." Rila nodded. "Knowledge is important, but imagination is equally so. We must think of possibilities, not just rules." Just then, an alarm rang throughout the research hub. A panel in the energy section had shown unusual readings. A minor disruption in the energy grid was detected, and engineers were rushing to investigate. Rila turned to Tom. "It seems we have a problem. This is the perfect opportunity for you to see how we respond to challenges." Tom followed her as she approached the engineers. "What is happening?" he asked. "Your Majesty," said a young engineer named Lyra, "there is a sudden imbalance in the energy flow. If it is not corrected soon, several sectors of the city may lose power temporarily." Rila examined the holographic display. "The fluctuation is coming from the northern energy conduits. We need to stabilize the flow by redistributing power and adjusting the feedback loops." Tom watched carefully. "Can I help?" he asked. Rila smiled. "Yes, you can assist in analysis. Your perspective may provide insight we have not considered." Working together, Rila and Tom studied the data. She explained the principles behind the energy grid, how the magnetic fields interacted with the crystal converters, and the delicate balance required to maintain stability. Tom listened attentively, asking questions and offering suggestions. "Perhaps we can reroute part of the energy through these secondary conduits," Tom said, pointing at a holographic map. "It might reduce the pressure on the main grid temporarily." Rila considered his idea. An interesting approach. "It could work if we coordinate with the feedback regulators to prevent overload." She quickly relayed the plan to the engineers. Under her guidance and with Tom's input, the team worked efficiently, rerouting energy and adjusting the feedback loops. Slowly, the readings stabilized and the alarm ceased. The engineers cheered softly, impressed by the cooperation between the Queen and the human. Rila looked at Tom and nodded. "You see, humans and Virelians may approach problems differently, but together we can find solutions faster and more effectively." Tom smiled. "I am honored to work with you, Your Majesty. Your knowledge is incredible, but you also trust others to contribute. That makes the difference." Rila felt a surge of pride. It was rare for her to have someone appreciate not just her intelligence, but also her leadership style. Tom had seen both. After the energy challenge was resolved, Rila took Tom to the cultural center, where artists, musicians, and storytellers gathered. She wanted him to understand the spirit of Virelia, not just its technology. They watched as dancers moved in harmony, their bodies glowing with soft bioluminescence. They listened to musicians playing instruments that created melodies using light and sound waves. They saw painters using floating pigments to create images that changed as the viewer moved around them. "Your culture is as impressive as your technology," Tom said. "It is full of creativity, expression, and life." Rila nodded. "Art is the soul of a people. It teaches understanding, emotion, and connection. A society without art is incomplete, just as a mind without knowledge is limited." Tom picked up a small brush that hovered on a pedestal. "May I try?" he asked. Rila smiled. "Of course. Creativity has no boundaries." Tom painted slowly, learning how to control the floating pigments. Rila watched as he experimented, guiding him gently when needed. He laughed softly when a color escaped the canvas and floated in the air, forming a tiny glowing orb. Rila joined him, demonstrating a technique that allowed colors to flow in graceful patterns. They spent hours painting together, sharing laughter and learning. Rila realized that beyond the council and politics, there was joy in teaching and sharing knowledge, and in seeing someone discover new ideas with wonder. As the day turned to evening, Rila decided to show Tom one of the most important places on Virelia, the Hall of Unity. The hall was built to celebrate cooperation and understanding among different species. The walls were lined with plaques and symbols representing alliances, friendships, and achievements made possible by working together. "This hall is a reminder," Rila explained, "that no one succeeds alone. Strength comes from collaboration, respect, and trust." Tom walked along the walls reading the stories. "Your people value wisdom and partnership above all else. That is rare in the galaxy," Rila nodded. "We have learned that fear divides but understanding unites. It is a lesson I wish all species would remember." She turned to Tom. "I hope you can carry this lesson back to your people as well. Humans have the ability to inspire unity across worlds." Tom smiled. "I will, Queen Rila. I have already learned so much from you, and I will share it with those who are ready to listen." The twin suns dipped below the horizon, and the floating gardens glowed with soft light. The city below sparkled like a jewel, and the air was filled with the gentle hum of energy and life. Rila and Tom sat quietly, watching the stars begin to appear. She thought about the future, the council, the other species, and the possibilities for Virelia. With humans and Virelians working together, perhaps the galaxy could become a place of understanding, not fear. "Your Majesty," Tom said softly, "I have a question. Why do you continue to lead, even when others judge you based on your appearance?" Rila looked at him, her violet eyes thoughtful. "Because leadership is not about being liked. It is about doing what is right. I have the knowledge, the wisdom, and the courage to guide my people. If others cannot see past appearances, that is their loss. True strength is in action and heart, not in looks." Tom nodded. "I understand, and I admire you for it. You are more than your appearance. You are a leader, a teacher, and a friend." Rila felt a warmth in her chest. It was rare to hear such words from someone outside her people. Tom had not only seen her for who she was, but had also respected and valued her. As night fell, they returned to the palace. Rila walked Tom to his quarters, ensuring he was comfortable and had everything he needed. "You are always welcome here," she said. "Virelia is open to those who seek knowledge and understanding." Tom smiled. "Thank you, Queen Rila. I look forward to learning more tomorrow." After he left, Rila returned to her balcony. The city lights shimmered below, and the twin moons rose in the sky. She thought about the energy challenge, the cultural center, and the Hall of Unity. Each experience had shown her something new, not just about her world, but about the value of seeing things differently. Humans and Virelians were different, yet together, they had solved a problem, shared ideas, and created something beautiful. She realized that this connection was the first step toward a future where understanding could overcome fear and prejudice. For the first time in many cycles, Rila felt truly hopeful. She had found someone who could see her mind and heart, someone who respected her wisdom and courage, and someone who could become a bridge between Virelia and the rest of the galaxy. She looked at the stars and whispered to herself, "Perhaps together we can change the galaxy." one understanding at a time, and with that thought, Rila felt a calm determination settle in her heart. The path ahead would not be easy, but with allies like Tom, the future seemed bright. The next day, the Interplanetary Council began in the Grand Hall of Viralia. Delegates from distant planets arrived, their ships gleaming in the sky above. Rila had spent years preparing for this moment, hoping to show the galaxy that Virelia's strength lay not in appearances, but in wisdom, creativity, and unity. Tom walked beside her, carrying his notebook and a gentle smile. His presence gave Rila courage. She had faced rejection all her life, yet with him by her side she felt stronger. As the council commenced, Rila stepped forward to address the delegates. Her voice rang clearly through the hall. "Welcome, friends of the galaxy. Today we gather to share knowledge, ideas, and friendship. Virelia opens its doors to understanding, cooperation, and unity." Many delegates nodded politely, but Rila could see the hesitation in their eyes. A few whispered to each other, glancing at her unusual appearance. She had grown accustomed to this, yet it stung every time, even after years of practice. After the opening speeches, Rila and Tom presented a demonstration of Virelia's technology. They showed how the energy grids could adapt to other planets, how the floating gardens could improve environments, and how cooperative problem-solving could prevent disasters. Despite the demonstration, some delegates remained skeptical. A representative from the planet Turvan approached, his green-scaled skin bristling with disapproval. "Queen Rila," he said, his voice sharp, "your people are intelligent, I admit, but your appearance is unsettling. How can we trust a leader who looks so different from us?" Rila met his gaze steadily. "Leadership is not determined by appearance, but by wisdom, courage, and action. My people have thrived because we value knowledge, respect, and cooperation above all else. Judging by looks blinds you to what truly matters." Tom stepped forward. "If I may speak," he said, his voice calm but firm, "I have traveled across stars and seen many species. What matters is understanding, respect, and working together. Queen Rila embodies all of these. She has saved her city from energy failures, taught her people to value knowledge, and created solutions that benefit many worlds. Appearances should not blind us to truth." A quiet murmur spread through the hall. Some delegates seemed thoughtful, while others still avoided eye contact with Rila. Rila and Tom continued their presentation, showing examples of teamwork between humans and Virelians. They described how they had solved the energy disruption the day before, and how combining human creativity with Virelian knowledge had led to a faster, more efficient solution. "Working together," Rila said, "we can achieve more than any species could alone. Fear and prejudice will not help us. Understanding and collaboration will." After the presentation, a council discussion began. Many species hesitated to speak openly. Some voiced concerns about forming alliances with a leader they had not fully accepted. Others asked questions about the humans, curious but cautious. Tom answered every question patiently, explaining Earth's culture, human values, and how humans had learned to solve problems despite limitations. Rila added her perspective, showing how different species could respect each other while still maintaining their unique identities. Even though some delegates still whispered doubts, a few began to show respect. The combination of Rila's wisdom and Tom's sincerity began to change minds. Later, during a break in the council, Rila and Tom walked through the palace gardens. The floating plants glowed softly in the afternoon light, casting a gentle warmth over their path. "Your Majesty," Tom said, "some delegates still judge you by your appearance. How do you stay strong when faced with rejection?" Rila looked at him thoughtfully. "It is not easy. Every day I face the same challenge. But I have learned that fear and prejudice are reflections of ignorance, not truth. I cannot control what others see, but I can control my actions, my words, and my guidance. True respect comes from deeds, not appearances." Tom nodded. "I understand, and I will help you show them your truth." Rila smiled. "Thank you, Tom. Your presence reminds me that understanding exists, even if it is rare. Together we can inspire change." That evening they returned to the council hall for the final session. Rila had prepared a speech, but she also wanted to respond to the doubts and fears openly. "Friends of the galaxy," she began, "I know some of you find me different, unusual, even unsettling. I do not expect you to understand me immediately, but I ask you to look beyond appearances, see the work my people have done, the knowledge we have shared, and the cooperation we offer. Judge us not by fear, but by action, wisdom, and kindness. Tom stood beside her, holding a holographic display of the recent energy solution they had created together. We have proven that collaboration works. Humans and Virelians, different as we are, can solve problems and create opportunities for all species. Fear should not dictate judgment. Understanding should. The hall was silent. Slowly, delegates began to nod. Some whispered to each other, reconsidering their assumptions. A few approached Rila afterward, asking questions about her leadership and her methods. It was not complete acceptance, but it was a start. For the first time, she felt that her actions, not her appearance, were being noticed, and Tom's support had made all the difference. After the council, Rila and Tom walked on the palace terrace, overlooking the city bathed in moonlight. The floating gardens glimmered and the air smelled of soft flowers. "You have done well," Tom said quietly. "You are changing minds slowly but surely," Rila nodded. "It is only the beginning. Change takes time and some will resist, but I have learned that patience, courage, and persistence can overcome fear. And with allies like you, Tom, the path becomes easier." Tom smiled. "I will always stand by you, Your Majesty. You have shown me that true leadership comes from the heart, and I will help others see it too." Rila felt a warmth in her chest. She realized that her loneliness, which had been her companion for many cycles, was lifting. With someone who truly understood her, she could face rejection without fear. Together, they could show the galaxy that appearances were unimportant compared to wisdom, courage, and kindness. The next day, Rila received messages from other planets expressing interest in collaboration. Some were hesitant, but curiosity had replaced fear in many hearts. Delegates who had doubted her leadership began asking for guidance. Inspired by the example of cooperation between humans and Virelians, Rila shared the news with Tom. "Look at this, Tom. Some are willing to see past fear. Change is possible." Tom grinned. "I knew it would happen. People only need someone to show them the right path. You are that someone, Queen Rila." Rila felt a sense of pride and hope. She realized that the work was not just about her or her planet. It was about the galaxy, about creating a future where understanding and cooperation could overcome fear and prejudice. That night, she stood on her balcony, looking at the stars. The twin moons of Virelia shone brightly, and the city below sparkled with light and life. She thought of the council, of the humans, of the possibilities ahead. She whispered to herself, "We will build bridges, not walls. We will teach understanding, not fear. And we will show the galaxy that true strength lies in courage, wisdom, and kindness." With Tom's friendship and support, Rila knew that the path ahead was bright. Together they could face rejection, overcome prejudice, and create a future where all species could work together in harmony. For Queen Rila, hope had grown into determination. And determination, she knew, was stronger than any fear. The galaxy was vast and the journey was just beginning. But for the first time, Rila believed that acceptance, understanding, and unity were possible. And with that belief, she felt ready to lead, inspire, and change the world. The day of the grand ceremony arrived. The sun rose over Virelia, casting gold and violet light across the floating gardens and crystal towers. Delegates from countless planets filled the council hall. Some had arrived with doubt, others with curiosity, but all were eager to witness the next step in interplanetary cooperation. Queen Rila stood at the front of the hall, her posture straight, her eyes shining with quiet determination. Tom was by her side, carrying a tablet displaying the results of the collaborative projects they had completed together. "This day is not only for Virelia," Rila began, her voice calm and commanding. "It is for all of us. It is a celebration of knowledge, courage, and cooperation. Today we recognize that understanding and respect can unite species across the galaxy." Some delegates nodded, others whispered to each other, and slowly the atmosphere began to shift. Fear and skepticism were replaced with curiosity and hope. Rila gestured to the displays of Virelian and human inventions. "We have worked together to solve problems, create new technologies, and ensure the safety and prosperity of multiple worlds. This is proof that strength does not come from appearance but from wisdom, creativity, and kindness." Tom stepped forward. "Your Majesty, if I may," he said, his voice clear.
"I have traveled far to meet this world.
"I have seen many species, many leaders. Queen Rila is not only wise and intelligent, but she is also courageous and kind. She shows that differences are strengths, and that understanding can overcome fear. The hall fell silent as the delegates considered his words. Slowly, one by one, species that had once looked on with doubt began to approach the front, asking questions and expressing interest in collaboration. Their respect for Rila was growing. A delegate from the planet Tervan, who had once openly doubted her, stepped forward. "Queen Rila," he said, his voice steady now, "I was wrong to judge you by your appearance. Your wisdom and leadership have shown me that strength lies in action and heart. I hope our worlds can work together." Rila nodded gracefully. "Thank you. Understanding begins with an open mind. I am glad we can move forward together." Tom smiled, noticing the change in the room. "This is only the beginning. Cooperation and respect will grow if we continue to work together." After the formal speeches, the council hall transformed into a celebration. Delegates mingled with Virelians and humans, sharing ideas, stories, and laughter. The floating gardens glowed with soft light and music filled the air, blending the sounds of Virelian instruments with human melodies. Rila and Tom walked through the crowd, greeting species who had once been skeptical. Each conversation showed progress, each smile or nod a small victory for understanding. "Your Majesty," said Lyra, the young engineer from the Energy Center, "the Council has never seen a demonstration like this. You have changed their perspective and they now want to collaborate with us." Rila smiled. "It is not only my work. It is the work of all who value knowledge, courage, and cooperation, and humans like Tom remind us that guidance and understanding can bridge worlds." Tom looked at Rila. "You have inspired more than just your people. You have inspired me, and together, we are inspiring the galaxy." As the evening continued, Rila invited Tom to join her on the balcony overlooking the city, the twin moons reflected in the floating gardens creating a sea of shimmering lights. "You have done more than I could have imagined," Rila said softly. "Today, many have begun to see what truly matters, and I could not have done it without you." Tom shook his head. "It was your vision, Your Majesty. I only followed it. You have shown me that courage, wisdom, and kindness can change minds and hearts. That is the greatest lesson any human could learn." Rila felt a warmth in her heart. For years she had faced rejection, isolation, and doubt. Now she saw hope, not only for herself but for the galaxy. Understanding, respect, and collaboration were possible. The council celebration continued with displays of art, science, and culture. Humans and Virelians worked together to show projects that could benefit many worlds. Delegates laughed, shared ideas, and began planning alliances. The atmosphere was full of energy, curiosity, and inspiration. Later, as the festivities wound down, Rila and Tom returned to a quiet part of the palace. She looked at him, her violet eyes thoughtful. "Tom," she said, "I have spent many cycles feeling alone. My appearance has often been a barrier. But with you, I have learned that connection is possible. Acceptance is possible. Hope is possible." Tom reached for her hand gently. "Your Majesty, I see you for who you truly are. Not just a queen, but a leader, a thinker, and a person with a heart full of courage and kindness. That is what matters." Rila smiled, feeling a deep sense of trust. "Then perhaps there is more we can do together. Not only for Virelia, but for the galaxy." Tom nodded. "Yes, together we can show others that understanding is stronger than fear. That courage, wisdom, and kindness can unite worlds." Days passed after the council, and the effects of Rila and Tom's work became evident. Delegates returned to their home planets with new ideas, inspired to share knowledge, build alliances, and value understanding above appearances. Messages of respect and collaboration poured into Virelia. Rila continued her duties as queen, leading with intelligence, wisdom, and kindness. But now she no longer felt the weight of loneliness. Tom remained by her side, his presence a constant reminder that connection and understanding could overcome even centuries of doubt. The citizens of Virelia noticed the change as well. For years, many had hidden their admiration for Rila, fearing others' judgment. Now they openly celebrated her leadership, her courage, and her vision. They saw that her differences were strengths, that her wisdom was unmatched, and that her heart guided her actions. One evening, as the twin moons rose, the city held a special ceremony to honor the unity achieved through the council. Delegates from other planets attended not as skeptics, but as friends. The floating gardens glowed in celebration and music filled the air. Rila and Tom stood together on the balcony, looking out at the city and the stars beyond. "Do you see, Tom?" Rila said softly. This is what I have dreamed of. Not just acceptance for myself, but a future where understanding can guide the galaxy. Tom smiled. I see it. And I know it will grow. Your courage and wisdom have shown others the way. Together we can continue to inspire and unite. Rila looked at him, feeling a connection that went beyond friendship. She realized that acceptance, understanding, and trust could lead to deeper bonds. In Tom, she had found someone who saw her for who she truly was and respected her for it. Then let us continue, she said. Not just as leaders, but as partners in guiding the galaxy toward cooperation, respect, and hope. Tom nodded, his eyes shining with determination. Yes, Your Majesty. Together, we will show the galaxy the true strength of wisdom, courage, and kindness. As the night deepened, the city of Virelia sparkled with light, floating gardens glowing, and the hum of energy fields creating a soft, comforting rhythm. Delegates from other worlds mingled, sharing ideas, planning collaborations, and celebrating the possibilities ahead. Rila realized that her life had changed forever. The rejection she had faced for centuries had been replaced by hope, understanding, and the promise of a brighter future. She had found friendship, respect, and trust. She had found a human who could bridge worlds and help her teach the galaxy that courage, wisdom, and kindness were the greatest strengths of all. The ceremony ended with a display of lights and music, blending the beauty of Virelia with the cultures of visiting species. The city glowed like a jewel, a symbol of unity, understanding, and hope. Queen Rila stood with Tom on the balcony, looking at the celebration below. She knew that challenges would still come, but now she was no longer alone. Together they had shown that fear could be replaced with respect. Prejudice could be replaced with understanding, and loneliness could be replaced with connection. The twin moons reflected on the floating gardens, casting soft light across the city. Rila felt a deep sense of peace. She had faced rejection, she had faced doubt, and she had faced fear, and now she had faced acceptance, respect, and hope. For Queen Rila, the galaxy had changed, and she had changed with it. And with Tom by her side, she knew that the future was bright, filled with possibilities, friendships, and the promise of unity across worlds. The story of the lonely queen who had once been rejected was now a story of courage, understanding, and triumph. The galaxy had learned a valuable lesson. Appearances could not define a person. Only actions, wisdom, and heart could, and so, under the glow of Virelia's twin moons, Queen Rila and Tom stood together, ready to guide their people and the galaxy toward a future where kindness, courage, and understanding could unite worlds in harmony.